Sometimes when you're driving down the road all by yourself, you begin to hear a voice that tells you need to look around, pay attention. Maybe something isn't quite right. That voice is me. It's the voice of Gord. Breaker 19, this is the voice of Gord. Come back. Anybody got a copy? Man, it has been almost a month since I've given you guys an episode. I am very apologetic. Been busy around here and just flat out with writing and kids and helping my in-laws and doing all kinds of stuff and just not getting to the podcasts. Got a quickie one here for you. You would have noticed this is only about a half hour long. My friends at CDL Drivers Unlimited, of which I'm a member, have scored a presidential candidate to come and speak trucking and learn from us truckers. And they have a special announcement about this presidential candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy, and the meeting they're about to have next week. So got a little short one here for you, and my friends Lee and Lisa Schmitt are going to tell you all about that. And that's basically it. It's a real short one today. But in the meantime, I haven't released an episode in almost a month, but I've been recording plenty. So, in the interest of letting you know what I got coming down the pipe, I'm bringing you Charles Gracie, founder of Hot Seat Services, is going to come to the show and talk about being a headhunter, a driver recruiter, and his life in the Navy and the trucking industry. Charles is an awesome guy. You've probably seen him around on Twitter and various places. Maybe you bumped into him at the Mid-America Truck Show or at the Future of Freight Festival. He's fantastic. I can't wait to get that discussion to you. My real good friend Chris Thomas, indie trucker, a true Kentucky gentleman and one of the finest owner-operators in the business. Got a recording for him I'm working on editing right now. My friend Aaron Jackson, a trucker I've known for 30 years, a friend of mine. I grew up with him in the same little town in Canada. He lives out on Vancouver Island, and he's going to tell us all about trucking in BC. I know my American listeners are going to really dig this, especially you guys that watch that damnable television show Highway Through Hell. Aaron's going to tell you all about what really happens out in BC and what it's all about. Can't wait to get that to you. My friend Nathan, the Blue Scholar, a writer at Christianity Today and Front Porch Republic, and a deeply thoughtful guy, plumber, someone who works with his hands just like the rest of us. Fantastic dude. Had an awesome conversation with him. Gonna be getting that to you soon. I've got tons of stuff happening. I've just been really swamped lately, and I really apologize for the gap. This is probably the longest gap since I've started the show on getting episodes out. And again, I'm very sorry. But anyway, Christmas is coming. I want to wish all you guys a Merry Christmas. And I can't wait to bring all of this content to you. 2024 is looking awesome. I'm working on some major writing projects. I've got a potential media appearance that might be coming up that's going to... well, we'll see. I'm not going to say any more about that. Anyhow, yeah, without any further delay, let's get to my friends Lee and Lisa Schmitt from CDL Drivers Unlimited and their announcement about a truckers summit at the Iowa 80 Truckstop this week with Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. You guys want to go and check this out. All right, let's get to it. G'day, everybody, and welcome to a announcement short episode of Voice of Gord. I'm Gord, and this is my voice. The announcing voices you're going to hear are my friends Lee and Lisa Schmitt from the great truck driver advocacy organization CDL Drivers Unlimited, with a very special announcement regarding one of 2024's presidential candidates. Lee and Lisa, g'day.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Where am I finding you this morning? Where are you all beached?
We are beached at Truck World in Hubbard, Ohio.
Right. As I understand it, you've got quite a substantial oversized load heading east.
Yeah, we're super load heading across PA tomorrow on I-80. So anybody that's listening, if you're going that way, sorry to delay you, but we're 18 wide.
18 feet wide. That's basically almost 2 lanes.
Yeah, it is. It is 2 lanes.
How many escorts?
It'll be 3 tomorrow. We've had as many as 5, multiple police, private escorts. It's fun. We own the road.
Man, when I hear 5 private escorts and multiple police and truck drivers, I'm thinking of a scene at a hotel room, possibly.
Yeah, that would be less of a headache,
Oh, just a different type of headache.
right?
All right. So, in your capacity as representatives for CDL Drivers Unlimited, you have a very special announcement, and it's quite timely. We have an event going on next week.
Yes, we are super, super excited. We've been working on this for a couple of months, trying to reach out to all presidential candidates. And Vivek Ramaswamy has graciously accepted our invitation to do a truck driver summit at Iowa 80 Truckstop. And that's coming up on the December 21st, which is this Thursday night at 6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m. Iowa time.
Correct. Central.
Central.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And so CDL Drivers Unlimited has been making some pretty good inroads in DC, trying to speak with policymakers and express truckers' concerns. Did anything about that make the connection with Mr. Ramaswamy's campaign?
Probably because we sent out, the email of all the things we've been doing and how truckers need to get their voices heard. And on this particular night, he is actually releasing his trucking policy that we've also had, some feedback in, and we've gotten some previews of it. So, I mean, we won't know exactly what he's going to say that night, but we'll all be sitting there in the room and can express our displeasure if that's how it is.
Right. And this event is sort of running in tandem with the Iowa caucuses, right? Because Iowa is sort of famously the first state where the parties sort of begin jockeying their candidates to become the candidate for president, correct?
Yes, it is. They're voting December caucus. I thought it was December 22nd, January 22nd, I think. So yeah, this is real short and a lot of rushing to get everything set up because we just found out last week a date and a time. So then we had to get everything else going.
And I understand there was a little bit of difficulty in finding a venue, and the Iowa 80 guys kind of came into it a little bit late too.
Yeah, I had reached out to every truck stop that could fit multiple trucks, more than 50. And everybody agreed to it until you told them you were bringing in national media. Then they had to check with corporate. Nobody wanted to deal with that. They didn't want to get back to us. Although they all agreed it was a great idea. No, we don't want national media here. So Iowa 80 did reach out Friday last week and finally agreed to everything. And here we are.
Well, hats off to Iowa 80. I sort of understand the impulse to stay far away from media people. Fans of this show will understand my history in dealing with the media in Canada, and there's sort of swineherd associates here in the US are probably no better, so I kind of get it.
The thing we're going to do different there is the media is only allowed in that room because she doesn't want the media running all around every truck driver's face at Iowa 80. That's a working business. Them drivers didn't sign up for that. They're getting fueled. They're whatever they're doing, they're leaving. You're good as long as the media stays in that room. That's where they're going to be. And I gave her my word. We do our damnedest to make that happen.
Right. So, which room at Iowa 80 is this summit? Or could we maybe call it a town hall of sorts, like a truckers town hall? Would that be an accurate way to describe it?
That's a good description. We're just branding it a trucker summit, truck driver summit, because we're hoping for more of these in the future with various candidates at every level, federal, state, and local. It's time for the politicians to realize that we have a voice and we're going to start using it. We're holding this in the movie room, which is upstairs. There's elevators or stairs if you need the elevator. Truck drivers will be able to write questions down on cards, and we're going to, read those cards out loud and have him address them.
I've been to Iowa 80 a few times over the years. I don't think I ever went upstairs to the movie room. What size of a room are we talking about here?
That room holds 80 sitting, and aisles going down one on each side is probably 5-6 feet wide. So we can get 100 people in there. I don't know how much room the media takes up, but I know we can get 80 in for sure.
Right.
And then the rest would just be media on the sides.
And I think you guys are limiting who can actually get in. Is it truck drivers and truck drivers only from Iowa? Like what's the rule on getting tickets to this event and who can come?
You have to have a CDL. That is first off. After that, it's Iowa drivers are going to take precedence because it's the Iowa Caucuses. But we've also reiterated, you're the president of the United States. Hopefully, that's what you're running for. So if there's not enough Iowa drivers to fill it, all CDL holders are allowed in.
Or MC.
Yes, or an MC. You have to have a CDL or an MC to get in, or the wife of a truck driver. That's the three requirements, because this is going to be dealing with trucking issues. And hopefully that's why the national media is there. Bring it to the forefront.
And you will also be live streaming this event for folks to watch either live or after the fact.
Yes, that's one way that we're going to be able to combat the media twisting this, is we're going to be live streaming it. Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be streaming this live on his X account, and everyone in the whole United States, wherever you are, can watch this on your phone. And if you miss it that night, there's going to be a replay the next day available on YouTube. So everyone will have access to this.
Right.
And you will see what is happening.
Right. Yeah. Including me, because I've been banned from Twitter X 4 times now and can't really watch anything there. I heard tell, since you guys announced this, there's been some disinformation campaigns already launched against this very small, very niche industry event. Can you maybe dispel what some of the things people are saying?
Yes. One of the things is we donated to him to be there. That's a lie, blatant lie. This was no donation done. This was a presidential candidate seeing the value of dealing with the largest sector in the United States. You need to know what's happening here. That was one. I forget what the other one was.
Some people are concerned. They don't feel he'll win the election and he's not a viable candidate. And our response to that is, first of all, we're not endorsing this candidate, nor is Iowa 80.
Nor is CDL-DU either.
Correct. And it is just a way to get trucking issues to the forefront of this election. All the candidates were reached out to. Now that we've got this national media involved and the press release came out, a couple other candidates have reached out to us. So we'll see if we can negotiate a town hall with them.
Oh, fantastic.
But, yes. So this is getting trucking talked about. If one candidate is talking about this on their stump speeches, they all will start. You know how that works. They can't be outdone by the other. So this is huge to get trucking issues as a part of this election. And Vivek does also realize that truckers are vital to our supply chain, therefore the economy in our country.
Something I sort of hope, I'm going to write a question for Mr. Ramaswamy. Maybe it gets read, maybe it doesn't, but I would do this to all. I would send this to all of the candidates. There's a number of issues I'd like addressed, but there's a difference between truckers being vital to supply chains and the functioning of our economy, and corporate associations that people mistakenly associate with actual truckers and their lack of necessity to the supply chains and the functioning of our economy.
Right. Anyone can get comments and questions submitted. Go to CDLDriversWin.com and there you can register for the event. And even if you can't attend, you can get your comment and question recorded to be, hopefully read. It's all going to depend on how much time we have and how much speak he does. I'm really excited about the trucking policy that he's going to release because, like I said, he does understand that we are important.
Right. And how much time has the Ramaswamy campaign allotted to this summit?
1.5 hours. Iowa 80 is cutting it off at 2. So if he goes further, he can go to 2 hours. But like she said, we have to get up tomorrow and come back to work because this is a job. So we're limiting you guys to 2 hours.
Hats off to Iowa 80 to decide to host this and be so generous with their facility. Yeah, it is a place for professionals who are actually working and on the road to get fuel, get a shower, get something to eat, make phone calls, do business on their laptops, and inviting a presidential campaign media circus to town is no small ask. So good for them for hosting.
Yeah, I'm really happy that they're doing this. And one of the things I wanted to make sure when he starts, I don't care who announces him, but I did let them know I want to give a speech first thanking Iowa 80 for allowing this because they didn't have to do this, and I'm sure they're going to get blowback. But if people just open their mind and realize it's a way to get it to the forefront.
Strategic thinking and open-mindedness and thoughtfulness are sometimes the first victims of politics, right?
Yeah, yes, they are.
CDLDriversWin.com is where guys can submit questions.
Yes. Yes. And you can register for tickets for the event if you're going to be in the area. Our goal is to make this look and be successful so that we can do others of this. All the drivers that are attending, we're asking that you be professional so we can get more candidates interested to hearing from truck drivers.
All right. No, that's great. Okay. So other than the Ramaswamy event, what else has CDL Drivers Unlimited been up to as of late?
We've been joining other trucking alliances, making comments on a bunch of things that FMCSA has in comment period. We're still dealing on the sidelines with multiple congressmen and trying to get co-sponsors for stopping the speed limiters. It's just a various list of things. We've been on the phone at least 3 hours every day dealing with different things, along with driving a truck.
We also have the Driver Crisis Center that is now live. That's not my lane, so I'm not going to know the website for that one, but I'm sure you can find it through CDL Drivers Win. We've partnered with BMT Insurance, and they are for our members, well, for any truck driver, they're giving a free half an hour consultation, to see if we can find you an insurance that will save you money on your health insurance for your family. Because I know that that's a huge cost. And I think there's a huge percentage of truck drivers that don't have health insurance. I know that one of our members, Dan Kors, actually, he's one of our council members. He talked with this insurance company. They're saving him $8,500 a year on his insurance. So you can find that information out on the CDL Drivers Win page also.
Oh, good. Fantastic. So speaking of lists of issues, what do you expect are going to be the main topics that drivers are going to bring up to Mr. Ramaswamy at this summit?
I think you're going to have a lot of them talking about the speed limiters, older drivers about the automatic braking, and then some drivers will, I don't know, I'd say probably 30% of questions would have something to do with HOS or ELD. And I hope there's a handful of people that get more in depth and understand all the regulations in trucking and can really get some technical questions. I'm hoping myself personally that he, at the end of this, actually any candidate says trucking, a truck driver, former truck driver, business owner in trucking will head the FMCSA, because that is the line 4 in the 1999 Motor Carrier Act, that you have to have somebody in transportation. FAA has a former pilot. The railroad has a former conductor. Why shouldn't the trucking have a former truck driver, or somebody of that mentality should be head of the FMCSA? That's what I'm hoping happens.
Right. Yeah. And this is my own opinion here. I'm editorializing, but the current head of the FMCSA, Ms. Hutchison, let's just say she leaves a lot to be desired, and seems to be in thrall to the imposition of tech on problems that are human and economic in nature, that require human and economic solutions, not just throwing technology at everything and hope that it works, because clearly none of that's working.
Right. And you want to editorialize for a second? She was the head of the sewer department. I mean, trucking's a shitty business, but
I didn't know that. Was she some kind of public works civil servant in the past?
yes.
Wow, that's hilarious, because yesterday I recorded another podcast with a good friend of mine who's a professional plumber. He's a master plumber down in Georgia. So synchronicity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also believe that driver pay and the Fair Labor Standards Act, that, you're a big supporter of removing that exemption, and the broker fraud that's going on, I believe those will also be issues that'll come up on Thursday.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a Discord server. Shout out to Reed and the Please Advisory crew, and it's populated mostly by brokers. So it's going to be interesting to see what those guys have to say about any ideas and or policies that come downstream of that discussion.
So this would be another time. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but go to cdldriverswin.com, put your comment in, put your question in, whatever you want. As many as we can get, even for people that aren't going to be there. I'd love to walk in there with a stack of papers and say, here's just a tip of the iceberg.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even if Mr. Ramaswamy doesn't get to address all of those questions during the summit, you could take those questions and hand them to his team, because he's probably got a bunch of policy wonks that work for him that can go over all that stuff and start talking about it amongst themselves.
Yes, that is the plan. We already told him, whatever you don't get to, you're still going to get a copy of all the questions.
I'm curious to know if you have any memory in recent past, has any other presidential candidate put out an actual trucking policy?
I don't think so, not that I'm aware of. I mean, they might put one out about transportation in general, supply chains in general. Supply chain, since the COVID problems, supply chain became this like new buzzword that everybody uses, and I'm sure they've mentioned that, but I don't recall any presidential candidate or even politicians in my home country of Canada coming out explicitly during an election and addressing truck drivers explicitly about issues in the trucking industry. This is the first I've heard of it.
So I really consider this a huge win at this point, that our dealing with all of these candidates has actually, gotten this to happen, a trucking policy being presented. It may change things for the future, and other candidates will look at doing similar.
Right. And I mean, long haul truckers in the US are a constituency of what, somewhere around 2 million. I think there's 3.5 million jobs in the United States which require a CDL. A bunch of them aren't really necessarily trucking, and then a bunch of them are local, but like OTR drivers themselves are a pretty substantial voting block. And one would think that, a smart politician, given like how narrow the margins are between teams red and teams blue, would want to attract such a large voting block, especially given how important we are to the economy.
Well, I look at it this way. We'll just say there's 4 million people that have a CDL that are in this country. Every one of us has 10 or 12 friends. And I'm not going to say 100%, but we'll say 90% of how your truck driver votes and his close friends are going to vote the same way. Them numbers keep adding up. So and we pointed that out to them. Okay, there's only 4 million of us, but our friends, our family vote the same way we do. Them numbers keep adding up, and they're not in trucking. So we do actually have a lot of sway.
Well, yeah, and you know, truckers, for good or for ill, are typically fairly opinionated folks. I'll cop to that, and people in my vicinity will hear what I have to say about a candidate and their positions, no doubt.
Yeah, they will.
Anybody that wants to learn more about Vivek Ramaswamy can go to his website. It has a lot of information on there. And I know he's also running 5 other events in the same day that he's seeing us. I know he's on a mission right now to hit all 99 counties in Iowa twice over, which has been a competition with all the candidates to try to get all the counties in Iowa. It's called the Grassley 99 or something like that. So he's doing that. But there's other people have some objections to Vivek Ramaswamy for whatever reason, and I'm not going to disagree or say I agree. Go on the website and look. He addresses a lot of people's concerns that they mention.
Sure, and like you guys said at the beginning, you know, nobody here is saying yay or nay or supporting him. It's just a matter of fact that the man seems interested in our business, and we're just taking this opportunity as it comes.
Right, and also to reiterate, any candidate that reaches back, we'll do the same thing to them that we did with Vivek Ramaswamy. You're going to get the same response from our team at CDL-DU. We'll supply questions. We'll do all this again. It's not that we're picking one over the other. We're going to do the same thing to any candidate that wants to do this.
Wouldn't it be interesting if, you know, the Trump campaign reached out to you guys? I think that would certainly set some hair on fire.
Especially after the truck drivers were in Washington, D.C. for 3 solid weeks in May of 2020 for broker transparency issues.
And I'm not saying that we endorse Trump. CDL-DU does not endorse Trump, and this would not be an endorsement of Trump. It would be another way to get questions out there. The advantage to Trump is we know what he's done or hasn't done as president against or for trucking, and I'm sure a lot of that would be brought back up. And we also reiterated that we wanted this to get to more presidential candidates, and 2 have responded back. I'm not going to release them because we don't know where it's going to go yet, but it is starting to pick up momentum.
The haul of 1,000 miles begins with letting the clutch out in first gear, and if this event with Mr. Ramaswamy is that first gear, may we see the other 17 gears.
That would be phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. A full slate of presidential candidates speaking with one of the largest groups of workers in the country who are extremely vital to the function of the economy. Wouldn't that be great?
Very big goal of CDL Drivers Unlimited and our DAN Driver Advocacy Network is to get drivers' voices heard.
It seems like it's happening. You guys, I think you guys got to meet Senator Cruz at some point in DC this year.
We saw him in February when we were there.
We also met with Cruz back in 2018 and had him for an hour and a half actually in a sit-down room. Right around the time he did the green eggs and ham on the Senate floor when he was doing a filibuster.
Oh wow, yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, no, it seems like Senator Cruz is one of the sort of few politicians in DC. You know, think of him or DC what you will. Mr. Cruz has certainly gone out of his way to speak with truckers. So hats off to him for that, at very least.
Yeah, and he is the ranking member of the transportation on the Senate side. So,
okay. Well, Lee and Lisa Schmitt, do you have anything else to add?
Just that we want to make this a great turnout so that we can do more. So go to CDL Drivers Win, register, write your comments, questions, and let's make this a success.
I would say the same thing. Just go there and write a comment or a question, and we'll get it out there. If you can't be there, listen to it live, and you'll hear it asked.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Thank you guys for your time. I'll try and get this edited and out there because I know the 21st is only a few days away, and we can spread this little interview around, and hopefully some of our fellow truckers avail themselves of this opportunity to submit questions, or if they happen to be in the east end of Iowa, hit up the Ramaswamy Summit at the Iowa 80 Truckstop on Thursday, December 21st, 2023.
Thank you very, very much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. All right, way of the road, guys.